Hey, you guys. Hope everyone is having a great day. I'm out and about today, just ripping and running, doing a few errands today, and I just came on for a few minutes to have a quick conversation with you and maybe open up some dialogue to get some constructive feedback from you guys. Just please keep in mind this is my opinion totally. I'm not impeding or imposing my opinion on anyone, but I wanted to talk a little bit about our youth today. And the question that has been in my mind is, why are we losing our youth to violence? Why are we losing our youth to the streets? Why are we losing our youth to so many factors? We're losing them from the church. Just so many areas that we're losing our children in. And I just wanted to get some constructive feedback, from everyone, if you want to chime in or comment. But I do have opinions of my own. Like I say, these are simply my opinions. Don't take them to heart. This is just what Tanya thinks. Just what Tanya thinks. The first thing that I think, honestly, is the reason why we're losing so many of our youth is because they don't have any identifiable figures. That means they don't have anyone that they can simply relate to in regards to the life situations that they're going through. And you're probably saying, well, how can they not relate? They see young girls pregnant all the time. They see guys in gangs and people selling drugs all the time. What I'm saying, they don't have any identifiable figures or people they can relate to that's coming out of the home structure. We have put on a facade for so long that we're actually perfect. We don't show our kids or tell our kids some of the things that we've experienced in life and help them understand, hey, this is the reason why I'm telling you this. This is the reason why I'm so hard on you, because I don't want to see you go down the path that I've went down, because I don't want to see you, your life all upside down because I went down that path. So I think that once we start relating to our children and communicating with our children the different things that we've experienced in life, I think they'll start relating to us more and start looking at us, and they'll get away from looking at us as this perfect Patty or perfect Peter, which is the farthest thing from the truth. And I'll just speak for myself. I got pregnant when I was in high school. Was that the right thing to do? No, it was not the right thing to do. But I can honestly say I got pregnant, or I had sex when I was in high school, my 11th grade year. It was because of peer pressure. And the reason I did that is not because I really wanted to, not because I understood what I was doing, but it was simply because of the fact that I was trying to fit in. Peer pressure is a very strong thing with our youth these days. And if they don't have anyone that's relatable to them at home, because you got to understand, our kids are trying to live up to our standards. They don't want to disappoint us. They don't want to let us down, because to them, we are their first hero. We're their first identifiable figure that's perfect to them, because we don't show them that we've fallen short. We don't show them that we've made mistakes. We don't show them that we've done anything wrong. So what they tend to do, because we haven't shown them that we've done anything wrong, they tend to go out there and experience life and do it behind our backs, because they already know what perfect Patty and perfect Preacher Peter, I call him Preacher Peter, is going to say. And we tend to come down hard on them without explaining, and still fail to explain to them, guess what? Hey, baby, guess what? I had you at an early age. Let me sit down with you and explain to you, hey, this is what happened. If we took time, I think, and explained to our children, allowed our children to relate to us, that doesn't mean that you're making yourself look any way bad or anything like that. But these kids need somebody they can relate to. For example, and I'll give you an example, and this is just my opinion, solely my opinion, the family dynamics. You expect your young men to be fathers, to be in the homes. How can they be something that they're not familiar with? Majority of the black communities and a lot of the white communities, all communities, they have absentee fathers in the home. How can a young black male learn how to be a father in a home if he's never experienced a father in his home? How? Yes, you can have a father role model, but it's still hard for them to be able to relate to a situation that they've never experienced. Same thing with women. We want our young girls, our young ladies to grow up to be nurturing mothers. We want them to grow up to value home life. You want them to be perfect wives. You want them to cook, clean, do everything that's required of them as a wife in that family structure. But guess what? The whole structure of the family is off kilter, because guess what? The mother has to get out there and she has to work a 9 to 5, just like the father have to work a 9 to 5. But guess what? The father can come in and out whenever he feels like he wants to come in and out. But the mother has got to stay in the home, and the mother has got to provide for the children. That means the young girls have nothing they can relate to. They can't relate to it because all they see is mama out there getting it, making it happen. So guess what? They're going to go and follow suit because that's what they relate to. That's what they relate to. The mother grinding. I can relate to that because that's what I had to. All you see is what you relate to. So what I'm saying, until we start speaking up and telling our kids about some of the things that we've done in our past that will bring some light to what they're doing, then we're going to always have a disconnect with our children. We're going to always have a disconnect with our youth. We need to stop. We need to go ahead and start letting these boys and these girls know, guess what? If you was a hoe, you was a hoe. The apple don't fall too far from the tree, but allow them to, you beat her up for doing this and doing this and doing that, but you did the same thing when you was in school or when you were out of school. Some of you are still doing it now, and I'm not passing judgment on anybody. God knows I'm not. So please don't take it like I say that this is solely my opinion. But until we start calling a spade, we're not going to be able to reach our youth. And the only way we're going to be able to reach our youth, we have got to be relatable. Men, same for you guys. The guys, the young fellas, they think it's okay to go out there and sleep with every girl that's out there because to them, that's what they familiar with. Because guess what? They done saw, and I'm going to call him Preacher Peter. Preacher Peter done went over here and got a baby over here with Sally. He went round the corner and got a baby with Sheila. Went over here across the river and got a baby with Pam. Went back over there across the water and got a baby with Susie. And then he ended up marrying Mary. We got to start calling it like it is and explaining to our children that instead of just sweeping this stuff up under the rug, when it happens, we just continue to sweep it up under the rug. Sweep it up under the rug. And guess what? Our children are lost. And I will go a step further. The church. We're losing our children to the church. And the reason, and this is just my opinion. I'm not talking about no preachers. I'm not saying anything negative about pastors or their pastoral duties or how they lead their congregation. But I'm just going to call it like it is. Like I stated, this is my opinion. Don't get mad with me because this is how I feel. And I may be wrong. So you can comment. You can give me your constructive feedback. But the reason that we're losing our youth in the church because they can't relate to you. They cannot relate to some of our pastors because guess what? They see you doing any and everything. And then you come into church and you degrade and you preach and you talk down to them. You're not a relatable or identifiable figure to them because you say one thing and you do something totally different than what you're speaking about. But when they come to church, they don't want to come to church and feel degraded. They don't want to come to church and feel shame. They don't want to come to church and sit on the front bench and they're the topic of conversation. Speak the word. Tell the truth. And it will hit wherever it needs to hit. They don't want to come to church and feel like, guess what, this family is more important than this family because this family may have a little more money than this family, or this family is related to this family. Who would want to come to church like that? All I'm saying is that until we start setting some examples where these children and these youth can relate to us, and we start talking to our youth and letting them know, guess what? Hey, your daddy sold drugs. Daddies, tell your boys, hey, I went down the same path that you went down. I used to be out there slanging drugs. I went to prison for that. The reason I'm so hard on you is because I don't want to see you go down that road. We can't change what has happened in the past, but we can start from here and try to be more involved with our youth. Family structures. Some of the family structures, we can't go back and put the fathers and the mothers in the same household. But going forward, we can teach and show our children what the correct family structure is. Right? That is just some of the things that I think. I have a lot more that I can say. But my whole thing is, I'm very passionate about our youth, and I want our youth to succeed. We have so much violence. We have so much killing. We have the young ladies, just sleeping around just to feel loved. And me personally, that ultimate love comes from home. It comes from home. Yes, our children are going to get grown. And I know some people are going to say, well, I raised my babies right, and when they get out in the street, they be a whole, and you are absolutely right. You can raise your child to the best of your ability, and they can get out in the street, and they can do a 360. But I promise you, whatever you put in them, it's going to stick with them. I know. I have 5 children that I've raised. They're not perfect. They make mistakes, but I promise you, what I've instilled in them is stuck in them. I told my children everything that transpired in my past. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to let them know that, guess what? I'm their first idol. Your children see you as their first idol when they come out. That's all they see. To them, you are perfect. Perfect. And to them, I was perfect. I had to let my daughters know, hey, the reason I'm protecting your virginity and the reason I'm talking to you about not succumbing to peer pressure and giving up your virginity until you're ready to give your virginity up is because I succumbed to peer pressure. And I gave up my virginity not because I wanted to, because I felt like I needed to fit in to what everybody else was doing. That was the worst mistake of my life, giving up my virginity. But having my baby was not the worst. That was the blessing. That was my blessing. But I had to learn from that blessing that it was okay to say no. So basically what I'm saying to my youth, it's okay to write your own story, write your own path. But I think us as parents, the older generation, we have got to start opening up and talking to our children about our past experience. And I think once we start doing that, they'll start being able to relate and identify with us. We're not perfect. We never will be. We're going to continue to make mistakes, but you don't want your children to have this facade in their head that you're perfect. And when they find out that you're not perfect, it's going to break them down tremendously. So that's my spiel for today. You can comment. Like I stated, this is just simply my opinion. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Let's focus on getting our youth back on track so we can save as many as we can. Hey, don't forget to vote. Have a good one, you guys. Until we talk again, toodles.